Today we're going to be taking a look at a logo that's not a logo at all. It's simply a creative use of two letters. And those letters are U2. So 3 things I want to cover when we're talking about U2. The first is they really don't have a logo. So we're going to cover why that's important, how they get around it, and sort of the psychology of the name and why it's easy for them to not have a logo. Well, let's not necessarily say easy, but how they've been able to get by all these years without it, because they have a very strong psychology in the name itself. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the importance of icons. U2 obviously realize the importance of good design because every one of their tours is symbolized with very specific icons, and I'll show you that. First off, let's talk about the no logo thing. If we take a look at a couple of these album covers here in the Joshua Tree, you can see in the top right hand side that U2 is just written in the same exact font that the Joshua Tree is written in. And we switch to the Unforgettable Fire. Again, we have this font, which since the Unforgettable Fire unfortunately has become horribly overused, but we're not going to talk about that right now. Achtung Baby has no logo at all. We just have a person wearing some rings here that say U2. In fact, there's no indication of the album name here either. And then we'll look at whatever we have hiding under here, under Blood Red Sky. The reason that this has been able to work for U2 over the years is because the U2 name has some tremendous psychology to it. And despite the fact that virtually none of the band members like the name U2, it's based on a suggestion that Steve Averill of 451 Creative came up with when he was talking to Adam Clayton one day about names. And Adam had voiced that he likes names like XTC or Ecstasy. It could mean a couple of different things. It's a little bit ambiguous. It could stand for something. It could mean ecstasy, the word. So after a little bit of discussion, Steve Averill came up with U2. First off, there was a famous spy plane with the designation U2, built by Lockheed. And if we click down here to operational history, as you can see, it came to public attention when a CIA pilot was shot down over Soviet territory. Now, this was during the Cold War, and we have the U2 incident. So this event, not necessarily fresh in people's minds. However, it was known well enough that you could call a reference to that. But the main part, and where we come in with psychology, is it's also U2. As in Tom, have a good night. Oh, U2. You immediately get this feeling of camaraderie, this feeling of familiarity, group mentality, and you feel like you're part of the band. The same way when you're talking about your favorite sports team, you're like, hey, oh man, you know, yeah, we're going to go all the way this year. When you talk about U2, not only do you have, yeah, they're my favorite band, but you also have this psychological connection to them, which is also reflected in their music. So if we listen to a couple of their songs, which are kind of playing in the background right now while I'm talking, you can hear lyrics that are heavy in the pronouns you and I. It's always Bono, the lead singer of U2, talking about you, talking about himself, which he's taken a lot of flack for, but with this constant lyrical connection to the audience, to you, essentially, and in conjunction with the name, there's a strong psychological draw. And I believe that that's a lot of the reason that U2 has been able to make their imagery work, is because of this great psychological draw and the ambiguity of their name. One of the other things that factors in here is that Steve Averill, the guy who came up with the name U2, actually has been their graphic designer all throughout the course of their history. His company has designed just about everything that they've ever put out. So if we come over here to if we come over here to u2.com and we enter the site, I'm just going to come over here to the U2 shop and click on North America because that's where I am right now. Let's take a look at some of this gear. And the reason that I want to look at this is because I'm showing you here the importance. Even a band with no logo understands that they need to have some iconic imagery. So every one of their tours, as you can see right now, they're right at the end of their U2 360 tour, and every one of the shirts in their shop here has the U2 360 logo, which I also have right here. We can take a good close-up view of it. This logo actually is a graphic representation of the stage that the band has put together for this tour, which we can check out right here. We just go to Images, Here's the stage. This thing is ridiculous. This is mammoth. If you've seen them on this tour, most bands are on a stage and they're in the front of the building. This thing is epic. As you can see, it looks like a giant robotic spider of some sort, but the important part here is that the crowd is 360 degrees around the band, and due to the ginormity, yes, that's a word of it, the band can walk across all these platforms and interact with more of their fans than a typical band is allowed. This sort of plays into the U2 psychology that I was talking about a minute ago. So, going back to the official store, you can see here that everything right in the beginning, here is all the, this is the logo for the 360 tour, and it's all the front page. If we scroll down a little bit further, we get to No Line on the Horizon, which was their most recent album, and that has its own logo. Scroll down even further, we have the images from the album Boy. We have War. They understand the importance of imagery here. This is the Joshua Tree album. You can see here, and they use the actual Joshua Tree in the front as the logo. This is from the Pop Mart tour. There's a lemon in a grocery cart. Here's from their album Vertigo. You can see they've got a target. So you can see, looking throughout their catalog, they do understand the importance of using icons and graphic imagery to brand their individual albums and the individual tours or eras in their history. So anyway, that's my quick overview of U2 and why U2 works. And that's all for now. Please remember to comment, rate. Hey everyone, before you go, I want you to keep in mind that this video is part of a larger series. And if you click the link right below this screen, it'll take you to the full course outline where you can then select lesson by lesson which ones you want to watch. In addition to that, this particular video was a case study. If you have a band that has a logo that you'd like us to go over and explain the design of the logo and how it works, then just send your requests to requests@mahalo.com. Thanks for watching. This band has been around for decades now, and they've used their logo letters for some reason or another. They've changed some things around. They move, they shake, and candlestick make.